We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 169, Super Bowl edition. Today we're going to talk about my disastrous week in poker, the Super Bowl, the world, and whatever y'all want to talk about. The Mouthpiece is next. Yo, welcome to the Mouthpiece. Super Bowl edition. We're going to start off with my week in poker, which has been nothing short of disastrous. Monday, I was down 81,000, which is the most I've ever been stuck in this game in 4 years. Ended up losing 57. Came back the next day, won 32. Came back the next day, won 8. So I was only down 18 for the week. Then I decided to start the game today. And in literally a 92 hands, I was stuck 54,000. I mean, I'll tell you the hands that happened. I'm like 6,000-7,000 loser, losing like just flopping top pair, getting away from it, and literally in 2 rounds I was like 6,500 loser. But the game's playing big. This one guy's gambling a lot, and I 3-bet him with ace queen of clubs, and he 4-bets me to 2,200. I just should have put him all in. He was playing so bad, but I called. And he had like 58 behind, and it came 7-7-3, and he just jams. And I just know that's not how he plays, so I know he doesn't have much. And I call with ace high, and he has the 3-6 offsuit. And of course, I lose both boards, and now I'm down like 17,000. Then it goes raise. 3-bet to 1,000. I have ace queen of hearts in the small blind, and the guy who made it 1,000 was Mr. 3-6. So I call 1,000, and then the middle blind just jams for 10,000. And I know the way the middle blind plays. If he had aces, kings, or queens, he would never jam. If he had ace king, he would never jam. So he's probably got like 9s or 10s, and with 3,000 dead money out there and 9K to call, I call, and he has jacks, and we run it twice in our game, and I lose both boards, and now I'm down 27. Can't make this shit up. Now I rebuy for 20,000, and it goes raise. I call with king 10 of diamonds. Small blind makes it 1,000. Mr. 3-6 calls, so I call in position. King 10 of diamonds, playing 20K deep. And the flop comes deuce 6-8 with 2 diamonds, and the small blind bets 4,000 in the 3, and when he has a big hand, I never see him do that. Like, he'll usually check a big hand, or he'll bet like half pot, and I can't just call 4,000 with a diamond draw and 2 overs and just fold the turn. So I just figured it's a good spot to raise. I make it 12, and he puts me all in, and he has queens, and I'm flipping, and I lose both boards again, and now I'm down 47,000. And I'm like shocked. I'm like shell shocked, and I pick up ace king. I 3-bet it to like 1,200, and 2 callers came like 9-10 jack. Next thing you know, I'm like 54K loser. And then I start battling back, and I got myself down to where I'm 25K loser. I won back 30,000, and I lost a few pots just now, and I had to go do the podcast with you guys, and that's where I'm stuck. 28K for the night and 46,000 on the week, which for me is a lot. So that's my poker for the week. How I got stuck 80 on Monday was like truly bizarre. Like I lose, I was 20K deep. I made it. There was one hand where I felt like I was getting bluffed. I felt like this person didn't have anything. I should have called 10,000 on the river because I know how this person plays. I had 3-bet pre. Person called. It came. I had ace 5 of spades. It came deuce 3-9 with 2 spades. Deuce 4-9 with 2 spades. And I bet the flop, and they called, and the turn comes a 9. And I just know this person never calls like a 3-bet with like a 9 in their hand versus me. It's not how this person plays. So I check. They bet 3,500. I should have just check jam 20,000, but I just check called 3,500, and then the river came like 8, and I checked, and they bet like 10,000, and I used 3 time banks, and I'm like, never has 10s, never has jack. When I call 3,500 on a turn, it's always going to check back 10s or jacks, and never has a 9. And is never betting like 3/4 pot with a full house on the turn. And I used 3 time banks, and I fucking fold, and they showed me 6-8 of spades. And I just like, the river came at 10, I'm sorry. So that 8 high, and I should have just followed my gut. I would have gone from 23 loser only down 6. Instead, I was 30 loser. Then came, me 4-betting it to 3,900, and the person who 3-bet me calls. The flop I had ace king, ace of hearts, comes 8-9 king with 2 hearts, and I bet really big. I bet like 4,400 into like 65, and the person calls with 13K behind, basically a pot-sized bet. And the turn card comes a 9, and I move in for the pot-sized bet, and I have 7-9. And I lose 44K pot instead of winning 8,000 if it doesn't come a 7 or 9 on the turn. It's just so bad with the stack size to like call 4,000 on the turn, 3,900 with 13K behind. And so now I lose 22 there. And next thing you know, I'm down like 40, and everything came unraveled and whatever. So that's my week in poker. It's not been good. Lost like 4K last week. Since I've been back playing, I'm down like 66,000 in like 3 weeks, which is insane. And that's my poker. Anyways, poker we're gonna not talk about that for now. Let's talk about Super Bowl Sunday. Line hasn't moved at all. It's 1.5, 48.5. It opened 1 and 49, went to as high as 2, and then it's been sitting at 1.5, 48.5 all week. I hear there's a lot of Philly money coming in. I love Philadelphia in this game, and I'm going to bet it. And I love the under. This is the best defense in the NFL, the best pass defense in the NFL, the best every defense in the NFL. People are like, well, Mahomes will take off running. I have like $1,000 bet with Phil under 29.5 yards. I mean, you saw what they did to Daniels last week. They completely contained him. He couldn't run. The defense was great. I know it's the Chiefs, and nobody's been able to really run on the Chiefs ever. Like, they haven't given up a 100-yard rusher this year. But the last 2 weeks, they've been gashed. I mean, Mixon gashed them for 89, but then, they had the turnover and got down 11, so they had to throw the ball, so they quit running with him. And then Cooks gashed them last week also, and the Bills lost because they quit. They don't run Cooks on the last drive of the game. It's so bizarre to me. It's so crazy. You could say, if you look at both rosters, Philadelphia is better at every position on the field except for quarterback. That's a big amount. That's a lot. But it's not like Hurts is playing bad. He played unbelievable versus Washington last week. I mean, the offensive line is so good for Philly that everybody tries to stop Barkley, and he goes off every week. We'll see. I know they've only given up a 100-yard rusher to one single. I'm not stupid. Like, if they key their okay, so their run defense is ranked 8th. It was ranked 3rd up until Christmas, and it's been like shitty since Christmas. And their pass defense was pretty shitty most of the year. So, I mean, I think the Super Bowl is going to be like last year's, really low scoring, like 20-17, and I think Philly's going to win. I really do. I don't know why. I just do. But I like the under a lot. I mean, Kansas City defense is good, but it's not what it was last year or the year before. I mean, the Bills put up fucking 30 on them. Houston was going up and down the field on them. They have an advantage. Yeah, it's Barkley's birthday on Sunday. I think it's going to be Philly's day. I really do. I like Philly and under, and that's what I'm going to bet. So we'll see what happens. So my app game group's coming in town. We play live poker tomorrow night at Aria, and then we have a dinner on Saturday night. We do a Super Bowl get together every year, and so yeah. Wow, both teams have 27 of 39 have gone under. That sounds about right. But yeah, I told everybody what scared me about the Bills was the Bills' defense, right? The Bills' defense struggled. Like, the Rams put up 42. Even in the game they beat Detroit put up 42. And the Ravens put up 35 against the Bills in week 4. And then even the Ravens 3 weeks ago, they had all those turnovers, but they had 400 yards of offense. So, this isn't the Bills' defense, dude. This is fucking Eagles have been the most dominant team in the NFL all fucking year. All year. I mean, they went into the Ravens in week 12, right? And fucking beat them 19-15. They held the Ravens to 15. That's a superstar offense. They held the Bengals to 17 on their home floor. So they held the Bengals and Ravens to 15 and 17 on their home field. And now everybody thinks that all of a sudden this Kansas City offense, which has been dog shit all year, and finally had a good game against the Bills defense, who the Bills also lost their best pass corner 5 minutes into the game, and the Bills still had a chance to win the game. So, listen, what has your eyes told you all year? Your eyes, if you watch both teams all year, you'd say Kansas City's so lucky. Kansas City's so lucky. Kansas City's so lucky. Like, they have not put together one complete game this whole year, unless you want to call the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Steelers suck. We now know they were terrible, right? And the Eagles have just played great. So I love the under. I love the Eagles. I think they win 20-17, 21-17. Might even be 28. I just don't know. I think they're a better team. Now, coaching goes to Kansas City and quarterbacking goes to Kansas City. Those are two big things when it comes to the playoffs. You know, I mean, the Philadelphia coach is just a bad clock manager. Like, he's a good motivator. He good play calls, good scheming. He's just terrible at clock management and game management. So it could cost him. We'll see. There's my pick. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know how it's not going to be a low-scoring game. Let's see what's going on in the world. Since Trump took office, he's got the liberals just going crazy, and I think it's great. Probably the best 2 weeks any president's ever had in history, and it's so funny. They're all crying about Elon. He campaigned with Elon about running Doge, and the Democrats are all mad because they're exposing their corruption. Like, if the Democrats weren't in a cult, they'd be like, wow, that's amazing. Look at all the corruption. Look at all the money they're fucking siphoning to all their buddies. Look at all the money laundering. Look at what they're spending our tax dollars on. Instead, the fake news media has got them outraged and, oh, Elon this and Elon that and Elon this. So when you have no power, that's all you can say. And then Trump just loves to troll everybody. It's so funny. You know. Like, they're even crying when Trump signed executive order, no women, no men in women's sports. Even the Dems cried about that. They're like, what do you mean? It's polling at 85% that even the Democrats are for no women in men's sports. But because Trump signed it, oh, we're so upset. Yeah. Anyways, that's my take on the fucking politics for the week. Yeah, sure, it's illegal. It's not illegal, dude. They're exposing them. Dude, U.S. AIDS is fucking siphoned hundreds of billions of dollars, man, which we already knew anyways. It's so amazing. Oh, you don't think that he said, I'm going to fucking take over Gaza, that he wasn't trolling? It was for a shock. He wanted to see everybody go crazy. Just like he said, oh, Canada, 51st state. And everybody went, oh, he wants to take over Canada. So funny. You guys are so stupid. Yeah. Oh, let's go back 40 years to his bankrupt casinos. Yeah, we have nothing else we could say. Yeah. He wants to take over Gaza. It was he's trolling everybody. I think it's funny. I think it would be a good idea, actually, but it ain't going to ever happen. Okay, so let's see. We've talked about my poker. We've talked about the Super Bowl. We've talked about Trump fucking absolutely fucking tearing it up. And yeah, Trump's doing so bad. He's polling yesterday at 61%. The Democrats were polling at 37%. I guess everybody's crazy. And the cult members in my chat know everything. Of course he's trolling. You really think he wanted Canada to be the 51st state? I mean, look what he got. He got the Panama Canal to erase their treaty with China, or Trump was going to take over the canal. And what'd they do? They canceled their treaty with their agreement with China. Oh, he went to Canada and says, if you don't fucking do something about the border, we're going to put 25% tariffs on you. What did Canada do? They made a border czar to protect the border from fentanyl and put like 10,000 troops or something. Gee, see, because all the Democrats in my chat that didn't lose a kid to fentanyl poisoning, they don't give a fuck. But I kind of do. 127,000 Americans died from fentanyl poisoning last year. I really didn't think Trump was going to do it, but he's going to go after the cartels. Like, he labeled them a terrorist organization. He's going to go after them. And it's pretty good that if he does, And what's so funny is remember when Biden was like, "Oh, Trump canceled the bipartisan border agreement that would have been great for the border," which was all bullshit because it allowed 5,000 illegals to cross per month. Oh, Trump has border crossings were down under 500. Under 500. There was literally 200,000 people a month coming in under Biden. And now it's under 500 a day. Like, they had it down to like 9 a day like 3 days ago. Because they could always put an executive order and close the border. They could always have done that, but they didn't want to. Yeah, the protests. Fuck the protests, man. The protests are just fucking paid shills that all came together out of nowhere because they have nothing. And the Democrat fucking policies are fucking unpopular. And everything they say and do is unpopular. And if you want to get power back and you want to help the country, you fucking jump on board and you get on board with some policies that aren't fucking dog shit for America. And that's a fact. Yeah. So, yeah, CBP app dead. And all the only people they're deporting are people with criminal records. And if you happen to be with the people with criminal records and are illegal, then they deport you also. But Democrats are mad. They're deporting all these rapists and murderers and child sex offenders. When Obama did it, it was okay, though. He was the deporter in chief. That was okay. Obama deported more people than any other president in history, but that was okay. But when Trump deports fucking criminals, it's not okay. It's so funny. It's just such brainwashing. Oh, dude, it was amazing because he takes the most pharma money of anybody. That was awesome to watch. Meanwhile, everyone's going to get confirmed, and the Democrats are mad about Trump possibly getting rid of the Department of Education. Do you know that 80% of people in this country can't even do basic math? Why do we have the Department of Education for? It's ridiculous. Yeah. They got nothing, man. And Trump's killing it. And RFK is nuts. When he was running for the Democrat, him and Nicole Shanahan literally put her money up and got Warnock and both those people in Georgia a Senate seat. And then, like she said, if they come out against RFK, she's going to primary all of them. And of course they did, and it's going to be funny. Yep. Keep crying, Barry. I agree. Yeah. Guy's a heroin addict. He quit doing heroin like 30 years ago, but yeah, you got it, buddy. Yeah, you got it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. They're literally going to figure out why 30 years ago there was 6 out of 1,000 people with autism, and now it's like 26%. 260 out of 1,000. Doesn't matter. They got to figure out what changed. We went from 6 vaccines to 72. That's what fucking changed. Anyways, I don't want to talk anymore politics. We have Super Bowl weekend. I got my app group coming up for the weekend. We got live game tomorrow, 50, 100, no limit, the RAF. And we have a dinner Saturday night, Super Bowl party Sunday. I'm not sure if I'm going to the Super Bowl party with the group. We'll see how I feel. And got to turn this poker around. I mean, I cut 81,000 loss down to 18, and now we're stuck 54 today, and stuck 28 now, but got to turn this around, and I will. So, anyways, let's see what people want to talk about, and let's hit the phone lines.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. Tell me what you want to talk about. Poker, Super Bowl. Oh, the Laker trade. How did I miss that? Let's talk about the Laker trade. Me as a diehard Laker fan, I can't believe Dallas gave up Luka Doncic. I just can't believe it. I just can't. I just can't believe it. So as a diehard Laker fan, we now are set for the next 10 years. We were dying on a hill with an old LeBron and a 31-year-old Davis who was only going to be good for another 4 or 5 years. And, the Elon salute when he goes, "My heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you." And then your media that you watch doesn't even see that, of course. And so it's a Nazi salute. The Nazi salute. So crazy. Well, my heart goes out to you guys. There you go. My heart goes out to you. You're going to accuse me of doing a Nazi salute? You fucking idiots. Bunch of fucking morons. Luka to Lakers. And then we picked up, I didn't even know who the center was, but supposedly he's been like killing it the last like 10 games. And he's a 23-year-old 7-footer. So I'm looking forward to it. Welcome to the Mouthpiece, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Quick.
Sure.
This is Fred, Kalamazoo Kid in Kalamazoo. What do you think, man? Elon's just digging into the first...
The first
basically thing, and there's like 400 more to go through. You're like, whoa.
What are you talking about?
Incredible.
You mean what they're going through with the U.S. AIDS and stuff, you mean?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
there's 400 different agencies plus.
It's unbelievable,
and, they're
right?
all corrupt.
And if you would think the Democrats, I have actually some normal Democrat friends that are like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Because like when you see the corruption and what they're doing, like unless you're completely fucking blinded by Trump derangement syndrome, you'll be like, wow.
Yeah, they're freaking out because
it's their whole money train.
They're extremely afraid of what's going to come out, and they just started. The reason they chose that one first is because that was a what do you call it? Like the president's doing now. A president order that was created in 1961 by JFK, and because of that, he can discontinue it at any time. I mean, it wasn't something that Congress or the Senate created.
You notice how
it was a presidential.
You notice how they're not coming out against Trump. It's enemy number one is Elon, right? Because like he is going to take them all down. Like, what did Trump run on? He ran on exposing the rot and corruption in our fucking system.
This time he's really doing it.
Right.
Last time he was stymied.
Last time he got stymied by the bullshit by his attorney general who let them open the fake Russiagate, you know?
Correct.
But he's going full out. They are going. This is going to be a transformative presidency. All these people that have been
completely transparent.
Yeah,
and that's the key.
Every day, transparent about everything they find. They post it on the Doge account. Every single thing they find, all the corruption, all the fucking where your tax dollars are going. It's just incredible, you know.
Yeah, and everybody he's putting in his cabinet this time is extremely smart, and they're on his side.
Yeah.
Where last time there's a lot of people he nominated. I was like, oh no, not him. They're like Pence. I mean, that was really a bad choice, but he didn't know any better. Now he knows better.
Yeah, and you know, like he was like people in the cabinet members, right? So he's been for 2 weeks. He's like, okay, how many days? He keeps asking, how many days do we have left? Right? In other words, he knows that he has got to get everything done in the first 2 years, just in case we lose the House. Right?
And in reality, you can't.
Right.
But hopefully, they elect another person that continues the objective.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing we can hope for, because we know there's no way this can all be solved in 4 years.
No,
it took 40, 50 years to get to this mess. It's going to take a while to get out of it.
Yeah,
and they're not going to go down. They're not going to go down without a fight.
Well, I mean
they will do anything.
All
possible.
the people that are protesting on the streets are the people who get all the kickbacks. You know, the lifetime politicians, the Chuck Schumers of the world.
They don't know.
What's the black lady, the crazy one from California? You know, or she gets
which one?
She gets all the people with kickbacks. You know, everybody knows when when they're 81 and running for re-election, you know they're corrupt. Like nobody that's got like 200 million in the bank is going to run for re-election at 81 years old or 82 years old. Like they're like, let me go enjoy them out, but they're so corrupt. They're so addicted to the money and the power. And they don't. Maxine Waters, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to give up, and they'll do anything possible to hang on to it. So they don't like the idea of transparency because it's going to show exactly what's going on.
I mean,
and they don't like that at all.
It was great with Fetterman was on the View the other day, and he tried to explain to them that all the indictments against Trump were all political hit jobs. And he goes,
of course they were.
Just like when they went after Hunter Biden, you know, that was the GOP's political hit job on him, you know, and it was. I mean, they didn't have to turn a misdemeanor gun possession into what they did, but that was all they had because they had no power. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they really. I told there's going to be a lot of revenge. A lot of
they definitely need to step up security.
There's going to be a lot of these people are going to really get what they deserve, because
the deeper it gets, the more desperate and the other side will get.
Listen, look at the people that Biden pardoned. That goes to tell you how corrupt they are, right?
Correct.
And they did a blanket pardon like 11 years back because they know
absolutely
he knows him, his brother, his sister, all of them were all fucking siphoning all the money, and they impeached Trump. What they impeached Trump for, the first impeachment, was everything he was trying to expose. The thing is, those blanket pardons.
I wonder if the pardons are that good against military courts.
No. They won't hold up. They're unconstitutional. You could the Constitution says you can only pardon somebody who's been convicted of a crime, right? There's no such thing as a preemptive pardon. So
that's why I personally feel they could be charged.
Well, I think he's going
by the military.
I believe that Trump will take it to the Supreme Court, those preemptive pardons.
Because if nobody goes down, what good is the whole thing?
Oh, they're all going down.
Nobody's going to learn a lesson.
They're going down. What do you think? They're in the streets. They
get money,
dude. Like normal people would be like, "Wow, look at all this corruption. Look what they're doing with our tax dollar." Instead, they're in full panic mode because they know All right, man. Who you like in the Super Bowl?
I got to go with the refs' favorites.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. All right, my man. Have a great weekend.
I would like the Lions, but unfortunately, we flubbed.
Well, you didn't flub. You're missing 11 defensive players and 7 starters. How long do you think you were going to hold up for? They had to play a perfect game.
And you know what?
They had to play a perfect game in offense, and they turned the ball over 4 times.
I'm very proud of the team for how far they got.
They'll be the team to beat next year. Don't worry.
Yep.
All right, my
and
man.
Who knows, right?
Have a great weekend. Thanks for the call.
You too. Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
You have a great life.
Yep.
No.
All right. Good phone call. 702-329-0480. Give us a call. Talk poker, Super Bowl, politics, whatever you want to talk about. Trump's absolutely killing it. I've never been more proud to have voted for what he's being done right now. I think it's amazing. I mean, I got some friends, some Democrat friends that poker players that actually voted for Trump, and when he came out the other day, it says he's going to take Gaza and turn it into the Riviera. They texted me laughing. They're like, he's going to take Gaza. It's so funny, right? Because they know he's just trolling, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, war crimes in Palestine. Yeah, how's Trump committing war crimes in Palestine? What is he doing? He hasn't even put a foot in their place. War crimes in Palestine. Oh, poor you, Barry. I feel bad for you. You're a good guy, though, so I'll always pray for you, because I know you're a good guy. You'll figure it out one day. Like 5 years from now, you'll be like, damn, Mike, I know I was stubborn, and to the bitter end, I held on. But finally, I did my own research, and I started looking into everything you was saying, and gosh, damn it, I can't believe you was right and I was wrong. Even though Trump is an idiot, you were still right and I was wrong. It's okay, though. It'll happen. It takes time. Look at, man, it took Daniel 7 years.
You see how he got attacked on Twitter?
Yeah, I saw how he got attacked on Twitter. Well, now that he's not on, now that he switched sides, it's all out fucking assault.
Josh Aria too.
What's that?
Josh Aria too.
Yeah, I know. Did you see what Josh posted? It was great. He was talking about the corruption. He's like, wow, who could have known all of it? But 702-329-0480. Sorry we missed you last week. I was struggling mentally, and I was not feeling very good. And I was sick for like 4 days also. And I wanted to make sure we got our pre-Super Bowl podcast in there. Yeah, and the men out of women's sports, Trump said that they are going to put a bill on the floor in the next 2 months and get it passed. This way, they could never, ever, right now it's only an executive order. And I've always said that we have a good chance to win the gender ideology. And listen, I love everybody. If you want to be trans, you can be whatever you want. But you can't punish the 99% for the 1%. And I wish that Trump was more had a little bit more empathy and would say to the people who think they're trans, we support you and we support everybody in this country, but we can't allow the 1% of people who are born male into women's locker rooms. It's just not right. And 89% of the country is for that executive order, and the Dems are trying to die on that hill too. But like I said, I wish he had a little more compassion, but you got to be strong. You got to say what you got to say, he threatened to deport all the people that are anti-Israel, pro-Hamas on the campuses if they're not an American citizen. It's so great. All right. 702-329-0480. Give me a call. Talk poker. NFL. The Lakers and the draft. What do you guys think of all the trades at the deadline? I don't really think Jimmy Butler does anything for the Warriors. I mean, they gave up a great 3D wing player in Wiggins. They have nobody to shoot the three beside Curry. They have no depth. I don't think the Warriors even make the playoffs with Jimmy Butler. I do think Dallas is going to be really good. Like, people are like, how could Dallas have just got one draft pick and AD and Max Christie? Like, AD's like the best fucking defensive two-way center in the NBA. People forget that. Yeah, Cavs got Hunter. That's big. Welcome to the Mouthpiece, Mike. What up? Hello.
Hey, is this Mike?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, is poker ever going to be as popular as it was in like 2006 and 2007 ever again?
No. I mean, a lot of people say it's bigger now than it ever has been, okay? But it's not, because like all the people who are playing these tournaments, they're playing them because they're trying to make a score. It's like all the cash games have gone private. So if you can't make money in cash games, like tournament players do not make like less than 0.5% survive in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's people are really like the tournament poker. I mean, you can't win money playing tournament poker. I mean, even the best of the best, they're running teaching sites because they know how big the swings are in poker. So, yeah.
So why was the TV poker more like so much better back then? Like nowadays, the
TV poker
seems more boring than it was even 10 years ago.
It was so much better because it was edited, right? And people want to see exciting hands, so that's what they were showing on TV. Now they have all these streams, and I think they're a lot of them are fake. When I saw it, the Lodge this week, it's just not real. There's nobody calling off 65,000 to a 4-bet with 10-7. Nobody. I mean, it's my opinion. I think that that whole hand was like a setup, and they probably chopped the money at the end of the day. And I don't give a shit what they say. I mean, I played poker long enough to know that nobody in their right mind is putting in 65,000 with 10-7 pre-flop, in a 100-200 game. They're just not. Maybe in a 500 and 1,000 game, maybe even then you just don't see it, because I played with rich people.
Do you think people play different when they're on TV?
They do.
Other when there's not cameras on their hole cards?
I mean, most of the time they play tighter. That's why I hate playing, because they don't want to look like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they play looser because they want to show off. Like Phil loves being on the TV table at the main event, and then he plays like an idiot because he wants to. Oh, I want to show off for the fans. Like instead of like win, it's about winning. It's he wants to. His ego is like And I say, yeah, you had a 2x stack and you blew it before the end of the day. I hope you had fun showing off. But I'm not jealous of Mariano, dude. I play with him. I fucking have a tell on his ass. I know when he has nothing. You think I'm jealous of some guy that's putting in 65,000 pre-flop with 10-7? Oh, the flop miraculously comes 8-9 with 2 diamonds when you have 10-7 of diamonds. Sure. Happens all the time. Who knows? I don't believe it. Anyways, yeah, no, I
just wanted to know about TV poker nowadays compared to the old days.
I mean,
which it doesn't even seem like the old days, but it was just
there's a lot. Listen, a lot of people have a lot of people have a lot of money, and from like Bitcoin and stuff. And there's a lot of spooing going on, but there's not 65,000 pre-flop being spooed by anybody with 10-7 or 15,000 pre-flop with the 10-4 off. Like, it's just complete bullshit. So I don't give a fuck what anybody says, and they could fucking go on Twitter and call me out for it. I don't give a fuck. I know it's fucking bullshit. I played with people put millions and millions of dollars on the table. Some of the worst players ever. And I've never seen it. Somebody put 300 big blinds and would call off, not jam, with 10-7. Come on, man. They must think I'm an idiot. But whatever. No, it'll never be like it was because there's not enough personalities.
That's what I thought.
And I mean,
I watched you and Sammy Farha and Helmuth and
I mean, I watch streams and I'm bored.
I mean, that's good poker,
Yeah,
that's just what it was.
Yeah,
the whole World Series was good poker back then.
Yeah,
what they showed on,
Yep, I agree.
It just every time you watched it, you wanted to see more.
Yeah, I mean, there was,
you wanted to see what happened. You wanted to see what happened next.
There's a lot of shit talking.
After you'd see you guys.
There's a lot of shit talking, a lot of fucking bullshit, and
you'd want to see who busted out and who kept going. And
yeah, I mean,
and kept everything going. It was good. It was good TV though back then. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying somebody calling off 65,000 pre-flop with 10 high.
But nowadays it's just somebody staring at their hands for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that, and listen, I truly believe, and I can't prove it, that Mariano and Doug made some kind of deal, like whenever they're all in, like whatever, and they're just doing it for clicks and likes, because I'm telling you, and I don't care who calls me out for it. I don't give a fuck. He can come on my podcast if he wants to fucking defend himself, right? There's nobody putting 65,000 in with 10-7 high to a 4-bet pre-flop. Never, ever, ever. So, never. So, doesn't matter how much money they have. Now, they might jam 65,000 with 10-7. That's different than calling off. Like, it's kind of like when Phil called off with the Queen 4 offsuit, right, in that one tournament, and everybody went crazy. He was up against 9s, right? Well, Phil called it off because he felt like he couldn't win the tournament. He was going to be short unless he called and got lucky. And of course he did, but I understand his thought process. Once he 3-bet so big where he left himself super short, he felt like he couldn't win. But that's, even then, I mean, that was a bad call, but whatever, it is what it is. Anyways, who you like in the Super Bowl?
Look, I'm a Vikings fan, so honestly, do you think the Vikings have a chance at all next year with J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell?
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean,
are they a threat? Are they a threat at all from an outsider?
I think so, because McCarthy in preseason was lauded as playing unbelievable for a rookie, right? And yes, Darnold looked great all year, but they really didn't play much tough competition. And when it came down to it, the two biggest games of his career, he was not just bad, but awful. I mean, awful. And he was
too hyped up. He overthrew everybody. That's what it was.
I mean,
he was over everyone's head. Every pass was over
the Detroit game for all the marbles. Like
literally every pass, he overthrew everyone.
He was so bad, right?
But he won 14 games.
Yeah, but
15.
like my friend on the
thing. But every all those passes all year long were good. He was calm, relaxed, and then the playoffs, he zoomed it. He went like hyperactive. That's what it was.
Like the guy, one of my friends on our We Win Sports podcast that we do is diehard Vikings fan, and he was like crushing all year taking the Vikings. I kept telling him they haven't played anybody. Right? And like the teams that they played, they literally like got beat. Like the Rams,
which was
twice.
They only lost to the Rams and the Lions the whole year.
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
Yeah, but
we only lost to two teams, and we beat everyone else.
Yeah, but look at the records of all the other teams. Okay, you could say, well, they beat Green Bay twice, but you saw what Green Bay was.
We beat Green Bay twice.
Yeah, but Green Bay was terrible.
Texans.
They were.
Every team that the NFL put up against them, they beat, except for two. I'll take that next year. I'll take that.
Listen,
hey, if they offer that to me next year. Some kind of scam, I would take it.
I took the Rams next year. We took the Rams at 45-1 to win the Super Bowl because we believed that the Rams and Philly were the two best teams. And as great as the thing is Philly in that Ram game played amazing, right? I mean, they had held the Rams to 15, and then they gave them the touchdown in like 2 minutes at the end of the fourth quarter, and then the terrible play calling by the coach. And literally, if it wasn't a missed assignment, the Rams were going to win that game. That's what the only thing I'm worried about with the Eagles on Sunday is the coaching, because the Eagles are the most dominant defense. I mean, they caused like 2 turnovers. In the playoffs this year, 10 turnovers, and they've committed 0. And they have the number 1 defense. And the name of the game in the NFL is run the ball, stop the run. Who runs the ball and stops the run better than any team in the NFL?
Hey, the quarterback sneak on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
Did you see where Washington was jumping the line?
Yeah, that was funny.
And the refs were going to give them the touchdown.
The refs are so out of line, dude. You can't.
Do you think they'll do that in the Super Bowl?
What's that? Maybe
give them the points if their Chiefs keep jumping the line.
No,
on a quarterback sneak.
No, but you can't sit there. You can't sit there and hard count. Like they do.
If the Chiefs started jumping off sides on the goal line,
nah, will never happen.
Do you think the refs would give the Eagles the touchdown in the Super Bowl?
Never.
Well, they threatened to do it last week.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were out of line. I thought they were wrong. Like, you can't just sit there and First of all, the tush push that they should be outlawed. It's
a quarterback sneak. It's what they call it.
Well, you can't put 2 people off the line of scrimmage behind.
It's a quarterback sneak.
There's a rule in the NFL.
You can't award a touchdown for the offside.
But go look. This is a rule in the NFL. A quarterback sneak or any player when they're running the ball is not allowed to be pushed from behind by any other player. They've always allowed it, when a guy's trying to run for extra yards and they all get it back up and try and push the pile, but it's actually a rule and it's against the rules. But the bottom line is I think they should just keep running it until the linebacker times it perfectly. Why are the Eagles why are the Eagles the only team that has perfected it and nobody else? Right? Well, look, it cost the Bills right now. I mean, yeah. Do I think the refs cheated fucking the Bills out of a first down twice? Sure, I do believe that. But why put yourself in that position? Right?
No.
Why?
The Eagles and the Lions have the 2 best offensive lines. Right
Absolutely,
now.
It's not even close. And listen, the Eagles are better at every position but quarterback and coach.
But the Eagles have a good defensive line too right now.
Number one ranked pass defense. Number 1 ranked, they're number 1 across the board. Defense wins championships, man. And
but you're playing them.
I know, but what if you watch? You watch Kansas City all year, and every game you ask yourself, how did they win this game? How did they win?
You got David. You're up against David. You're up against David Blaine.
I mean, where Philadelphia just murdered teams. Like they went into Baltimore and held the Ravens to 15. They went into Cincinnati and held Cincinnati to 17, the two best offenses in football, right? They held the Rams to 15 with 2 minutes to go 2 weeks ago with 2 turnovers. They held Washington. That kid, they got 23 points, but that kid was contained. Like, he was running for his life to get a yard. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think they're so much better at every position. I do. I love the under in the game. I don't know how it's possibly.
Well, I would never bet against Kansas City in a Super Bowl.
Well, I know a lot of people won't, but
not at this point in humanity.
I don't blame you.
I wouldn't bet against Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at this point in this timeline in life.
I don't blame you. But
you know what I'm saying?
I don't blame you, but 2 years ago, the Bengal coach had
in 2025, you bet against the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl?
2 years ago, the fucking Bengal coach, all he had to do is punt the ball out of bounds, and the Bengals go to the Super Bowl. Instead, he punts it inbounds, they run it back 30 yards, and then they get the roughing the passer out with 3 seconds to go, or they don't make the Super Bowl. Last year,
the Cleveland Browns were ranked one of the top 5 rosters before the season started.
I know.
So just to let you know.
Listen,
the Cleveland Browns were a top 5 roster at the beginning of the season.
But everybody thought Watson would be better.
They were like 4 or 5, right?
They did lose like 4 of their 5 offensive linemen like in week 1. Okay, and so when you have no offensive line, it's tough to win in the NFL. You know that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the Eagles have an offensive line that's completely intact and the best offensive line in football.
They got 1 and 2. They got 1 and 1, I think, right?
Yeah, number 1, right?
1 D and 1 O.
Look back.
The Lions might have the best O. The Lions are number 1 O, but
look back.
So they got 1 and 2
to the Denver.
Right.
Let's go back to the Denver Carolina 2015 Super Bowl, and everybody's like Carolina, right? But the sharps were all on Denver because they had the number 1 defense, and defense wins championships. And fucking what's his name ran for his life in that game, and Cam ran for his life in that game, and. This Eagle defense, man, look at it up. Go look at all the games they played this year. Like, nobody scored on them. Like, nobody. And I just think they're going to win the game. I really do. But we'll see. Go look at last year. If the punt doesn't go off the San Francisco guy's foot, which he should have been nowhere near there, like, San Francisco wins the Super Bowl. They're very lucky. Listen, Kansas City's been very lucky.
If the Bills kicker would have kicked it to the left a little bit in that first Super Bowl,
yeah, well,
a whole different story.
Well, I mean, if the Bills coach with 13 seconds to go doesn't play a prevent defense when the other team has 3 timeouts left, the Buffalo's going to win. They're never going to go to the Super Bowl that year. I mean. You don't play a prevent defense when the other team has 3 timeouts left. You know how easy it is to go 20 yards up the field in 4 seconds and go to the ground and take a timeout? All they had to do is rush like 4, and that would have been it, and the Bills would have been in the Super Bowl. It just
doesn't matter. Randall Cunningham should have been had a Super Bowl ring and been in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah, no shit. How he's not in the Hall of Fame is amazing.
Everything took a U-turn. At some point.
Well, I think McCarthy's really good. I think McCarthy's really good, and you got something to look forward to next year, bud.
You think he's good? Really?
I think he's very good.
McCarthy? You think he'll do it?
He's better than fucking Darnold. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I wonder who's going to sign Darnold. Like, before those last 2 games, I really thought...
I'm thinking Vegas was going to get him. I'm thinking Vegas will get... I'm thinking Vegas gets him and...
I think that Vegas has
a bunch of other good people.
Well, here you have to ask yourself, all right? Do you
Well, they're talking about Garoppolo signing in Minnesota now. That's what they're saying here in
That
Minneapolis.
makes sense as a backup.
Talking about Garoppolo.
But like Darnold,
we don't want him.
Well, you have to ask yourself: do Kirk Cousins or Darnold, right? Like Vegas is going to.
We don't want Garoppolo. I know that.
As a backup, why not?
We already had.
Why not?
We already
Did you see how good he played for the Rams in the last game of the year, where they almost won the game when they rested everybody? I mean, Garoppolo is a good backup quarterback.
I'd rather have the backup that Tampa has that used to play for Florida Gators.
Who is that? Who is their Tampa's backup?
I don't know. Kyle. Who's Kyle? His name's Kyle.
Some
Kyle guy.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah. I don't know.
The guy before Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, Richardson. I bet against last
year.
Before
him. The one before him for Florida.
Yeah, I remember.
He's our backup. He's
2 years ago, I went under on Indianapolis betting against Richardson, and he got hurt. And then the backup got him like 9 wins, and I lost my money.
I'd rather have that guy than fucking Garoppolo.
You know, I think
that guy's at least a backup
honestly,
right now.
I think Darnold's going to go to Indianapolis, and I think Cousins is going to be with the Raiders. People are saying Russ Wilson. I'm like, oh please God, no, he's so bad.
Well, Wilson's better than Cousins.
No way. Did you see fucking Wilson
Cousins
against
is a
top
numbers guy? He's like the guy that went from the Browns to the
against top competition the last 5 weeks. He was terrible.
He's like a Palmer. Cousins is like Carson Palmer. It's like the same numbers.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson sucks. He can't move anymore.
Well, Russell Wilson at least has won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he can't move anymore. It's kind of like
at least Cousins is Carson Palmer. It's the same thing.
It's like when Carson Wentz blew his ACL. That was it. His whole he was a good quarterback, but he wasn't like a great pocket passer. He was decent, but his legs got him so many first downs. Once he lost the ACL, he was the nobody anymore. All right, my man. All right. Well, who you say Kansas City? All right. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Yep. Thanks for the call.
All right. Have a good night.
You do. All right. 702-329-0480.
Hello?
What up? Welcome to Mouthpiece.
What's going on?
What do you like?
Hey, first time, long time. So
nice.
The thing I'm calling about, I want to keep it light, talk about the World Series of Poker.
Okay.
So just to give you a quick bit of background, I used to go to the World Series all the time. I played professionally. Used to play on the East Coast circuit with Kessler all the time. Then when they got rid of online poker, I said, screw this. Went to college, got the job, the whole nine. But then right before COVID, I was in an accident. So I wasn't able to play since the Rio. So my question to you is, I want to know how things are different because I haven't played a tournament since the big blind ante was a thing. When I used to play, if you remember, you'd get 3,000 chips in a 1,500. I think now you get 30K.
Yeah.
So I just want to know how you like it, if it's better or worse compared to the Rio.
I like Paris better. The parking sucks, right? But I get a room there. And the food is better, but it's tougher to park. I'm not a big fan of all the chips they give people now. I think it's terrible. It's just, I don't know, man. Everybody just plays so tight. It's ridiculous.
Do you see late reg a lot more now? Because I would always show up early because it was so short on chips.
Yeah. I mean, I late reg all the no limits with about 30 big blinds because I save myself 6, 7, 8 hours. And when you got 30 big, it's easy to move a 25, 30 big blind stack around. You know what I mean? And
well, I mainly play mixed, to be honest. So I'm thinking of and that was one of my questions. Yeah, because I mainly play OE and 08.
Yeah, me too. The mix, I mean, it's so deep early, and it's just meaningless, right?
Really?
I'd rather. It's just, I mean, if you get a good table, right, and you could double your stack early, it's good. But I mean, if you get a bad table, it sucks, dude. And People are learning how to play poker. I mean, making money in poker ain't like it used to be.
I know, I'm seeing that now because I'm on the East Coast. Not to interrupt you, but like it's so depressing now because I haven't been able to play a tournament in like 5 years, and now I come back and there's no Foxwood series, there's no Mohegan series. The Borgata just started up again. It's crazy.
I know.
And the thing I was going to ask though too is why, like with the Knicks schedule, I know it's coming out soon. Is there a reason why like they put the 1500 Omaha early and then the OE like a month later? Like, why wouldn't they put someone?
I mean,
I've never.
They just put the OE back. Last year was the first year they put the OE back in. So, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking more maybe like think of the 1500s, right?
I mean,
so if I remember correctly,
it was really like
Omaha.
Last year really bothered me because they ran all the Omaha 8s in the first 2 weeks. Like we're talking about, they ran the 3K 1500 Omaha 8, the 3K, the 10K, and then they ran the PLO 8, 3000 and 10,000 PLO 8. So like if I ran bad in those first 2 weeks like I did last week, those are my best games, you know?
Yeah, and you're playing catch up the rest of the series, basically.
It was really tough to deal with. I ran so bad last year. I never had a 2x stack and limit ever, not once. Never
I watched the vlogs. I remember they were pretty entertaining. That's how I kept myself busy.
I know.
So,
I mean, they were
but yeah, I guess they go like 1500 to 10K because I never wondered why for somebody who wants to come out and like bang out the 1500.
Well, back in the old days, the first 2 weeks of the series, the first week were 1500s, the next week were 3000s. The next week we're 5,000.
That's what I would love.
That's
what I would love. I get to play the Raz, the 08, the Horse, the Stud.
But that's how it used to be. But now they kind of like chunked it all together last year. It was weird, really weird.
Yeah. Well, and I got a controversial one for you now. Now that GG owns it, like I'm a big fan of Daniel, and I know he's a friend of yours. But how is that not a conflict of interest? That he's like the spokesman, sponsored player, and now it's like his tour.
What does that have to do with anything? Like
I would just feel
like Moneymaker has his own tour also.
That's a great point. I mean,
I
guess it'd be in the series.
I mean,
I don't know like how the sponsorship stuff work and anything.
The only
like
thing
that.
I hate about it is like Daniel and Phil and the two Phils get their own private room on breaks. That's what I think.
Yeah, I guess I meant stuff like that.
Because
you're going to.
I mean, I have to go through the hallway and sign 100 autographs. They get to go in their own room, you know.
Oh yeah, I've seen you almost kill people on the studio.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I think is unfair. You know, let them have to sign 100 autographs like I do at the break. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, that's all I really had for you.
Who you like on the Super Bowl? Who you like on the Super Bowl?
So. I kind of agree with everything you said. The Eagles are the better team, but I believe in like the narratives. It's like a little WWE-ish where I think they want to compare Mahomes to Brady. They want to give him his third in a row, and you're going to see some bullshit. And I just don't.
I don't think you're going to see any bullshit, man. There's too much. The Super Bowl makes way too much money. You know, well, I joke around the refs cheat for them, you know, but they don't. Listen.
But you already see. They're already starting with like
the Bills
locker room sickness.
The Bills. Oh yeah, I heard the one guy from Georgia's sick from Philadelphia.
Jalen Carter.
I heard he's really sick.
I guess. Yeah.
But that was yesterday. Like he's got like 5 days to get fucking healthy. You know, I don't know how sick he is, but like, I mean, if he has COVID, I mean, then that's not good. You know,
but I completely agree with you. 2017, I think the over/under is way too high. I think it's like 46 or 48.
48 and a half. 48 and a half.
Yeah, that's insane. I think you nailed it. 2017. Either way, though, it's probably a coin flip.
I think the Eagles are the better team. They've been the better team all year. People like to say, well, Kansas City could turn it on anytime they want. Well, if it wasn't for Houston and their horrible special teams, they would have lost that game, and Houston's not very good. And the Bills' defense was struggling all year, and they lost their best corner 5 minutes into the game, and they still had a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
Look at those
I'll
horrible...
play devil's advocate, though.
Yeah.
Outside of the Ravens, who have the Eagles played? Now, if you think about it, they played Washington was probably the best team they played twice.
Yeah, and they played them 3 times, and they pretty much owned them all 3.
Yeah, 3 times.
All 3 they pretty much owned them. The Rams game, the Rams could have won at the end because the coach was an idiot, but they dominated that game. I mean, they held them to 50.
Saquon owns the Rams, though. Didn't he run for like 400 yards versus them in like both games? But here's the way I look at it, because I haven't like touched any bets yet. I'm probably going to do like fun props.
Yeah.
The way I see it is, and maybe you'll agree with me, is if you separate the teams, the Chiefs, when they last played the Eagles, I think you would agree. So Mahomes allegedly had the bum ankle. Their wide receiver, like 1 or 2, is Juju, and now they got Hollywood Brown.
But the Eagles defense wasn't that good. They kept saying how good it was, but when the quarterback for Frisco went down, and Ayuk said, "Well, it sucks," he goes, "because we were going to expose that Eagle defense, right?" And I knew the Eagle defense wasn't that good. I thought it was way overhyped, and it got exposed in the Super Bowl. And if it wasn't for the fumble strip 7, I mean, the Eagles would have won that game. And that's with that horrible defense. This defense for the Eagles putting up, this is a real defense, you know.
Do you think, though, I would say Hurts, though, I think he's substantially worse than he peaked in that Super Bowl year.
I agree. Hurts was much better, right? But
yeah, because my best friends are diehard Eagles fans. They're going
Kansas City,
and they're like delusional.
What do you think? If Kansas City's going to go all out to stop Barkley, you don't think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to be wide open? You know, somebody's got to be open.
I agree, but you talked about it earlier. You're giving Andy Reid 2 weeks to go against their coach.
I get it. A better coach, yeah. But, you know, I just don't think...
my logic is I get you can't just turn it on. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But it's almost like those professional, or like the Brady era, or the professional basketball teams you see, like the prime Celtics or Lakers. It's almost like the Chiefs are on autopilot. They never want to show too much.
Well, that's what people... I have friends that think that they've been hiding everything all year, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all.
I think that's a stretch, but I think they have plays like, and I don't know why the Eagles did this, because they should have saved it for the Super Bowl. Do you remember the play when like the Eagles fake tush-pushed and he threw the touchdown pass to A.J. Brown?
Yes.
Like, I think the Chiefs have like 20 of those they've been hiding. That's my hot take.
Maybe. I mean, listen, here, if the running back what was coming off the injury looked good, I think the Chiefs would be Pacheco. Pacheco's been terrible since he's been back. That's why they've been playing. They've been running Hunt, and Hunt is nothing, right? And you know, if you know a lot about football, the name of the game is run the ball, stop the run. Whoever, whether it's college or pro, whatever team runs the ball the best and stops the run wins football games. And nobody runs
especially in the playoffs.
Especially in the playoffs. And well, you know, let's go to the fucking Detroit. They were able to run the ball, but because of all their injuries, they couldn't stop the run, right? And Washington ran wild. Mm-hmm. The quarterback ran wild on them. What do you have, like 140 yards rushing, the quarterback for Washington? Like,
yeah. Well, and what's his name? Ben Johnson. He was kind of checked out, right? That was messed up. They let him interview with like Chicago and get the job basically, right? Like, it's almost like in that game he was showing off.
Detroit had to play a perfect offensive game because they were missing 7 starters and 11 defensive players. Yeah. You know, and the next week the Eagles, like I came on the podcast, says this is the easiest bet in the world. Like this, the Washington ain't playing no fucking Detroit defense missing half their fucking starters. You saw what in all 3 games. Like the first game, it was 12-11, and that was when Hurts was forgot something was out, but they stopped him on 4th and 3, and Barkley ran.
Well, I think A.J. Brown might have been out.
Yeah.
Now that
Then they ran for 2 touchdowns late for Barkley, and they win the game, and a backdoor touchdown at the end. They win the game by 8. The second game, they forced 5 turnovers, and they had to get outscored 22-6 in the 4th to give that game away. Like, that was just like they let up, right? And saw what they did to Washington, who looked awesome against all the top teams. Like, they played a tough schedule, Washington. I mean, the good they beat a lot of good
pretty
teams.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, the kid's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's unbelievable. And
what he's done with that team
listen,
is pretty insane.
No team all year has shut down the Bengals or the Ravens offense, right? They went into Cincinnati.
Yep.
That was 17-17 at halftime, and that final was 37-17. You remember that game? They went.
I do.
The Ravens had 5 losses all year, right? Every fucking game, all 4 of their 5 losses were fucking giveaways. They dominated all 4, and they blew double-digit leads like in the fourth quarter, right? But look at the but the Eagles went into the Ravens and held them to 15 points. Like their defense dominated. They're the only fucking the only team they played the Ravens all year where the offense couldn't do anything. And
that's a great point.
And again, even the Rams, right? Look what the Rams offense like. They were held in the snow. They were held to 15 with like 4 minutes to go. Then they got the touchdown in 2 minutes and the terrible play call by the Eagles fucking play caller, which gave them the ball back. And they don't miss an assignment up the middle. The Rams are probably going to win that game, even though the Eagles dominated the game. You know what I mean? Caused 2 turnovers.
Exactly.
10 turnovers to 0 in the fucking playoffs. There's never been a team.
The Reds did blow the end.
There's never been a team with that many turnovers that didn't win a Super Bowl. I just think I think there's a lot more pressure on Kansas City going for the 3-peat than there is for the Eagles. Like
that's true.
You know,
that's true.
Like I mean, and then you listen to all the talking heads, right? Every talking head on every fucking television this week likes Kansas City, right? All the squares, all betting Kansas City, but all the sharp money's coming in on the Eagles. That's a fact.
Well, I was just going to ask you this too because like I follow I invest in DraftKings, so I follow like the analyst stuff. And the last I saw though is over Eagles was like what was being heavily bet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could check that, but so that's why I get a little nervous. I think everyone, the general public, is sick of seeing Mahomes win, and they're hammering, hoping for a shootout. I think like you, the complete opposite. I think it's going to be just a disgustingly ugly game because I think they're on their backup center and they're down a guard. And, you know, maybe it is like I said, during the Brady era, you get that like almost PTSD of are they going to win again? Because I bet Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl before the season started. So I knew the Eagles were going to be good with Saquon. But it's like once Mahomes is there, it's like with Brady, I think. All bets are off. You know?
I mean, since week 7 on this podcast and on our We Win podcast that I'm on, I've said the Eagles are the best team in the NFL, and it's not even close, right? And that was week 7.
Yep.
And they never lost another game until the giveaway in week 16. They went 15-1. Like, they were 2-2. I don't know if you remember. They were 97% to win the game against Atlanta, where he fucking throws the ball instead of runs it twice.
That's right, yeah. And Kirk looks like
and
Joe
Kirk
Montana
gets the ball back in 13 seconds to kick
Yeah.
a field goal and win the game. So, like, the only bad game they really played was a game that
I got a counter for you.
Was against Tampa Bay, and that was Devontae Smith and Devontae Smith and what's his name, AJ Brown were out in that game. And because I really thought the Eagles wanted revenge because Tampa knocked them out the year before, so I was on the Eagles in that game, but they had nobody to throw to, and so they couldn't score.
Yeah, and I mean, they do let down sometimes, though, because I'm a Panthers fan, and I don't know how you feel about Bryce, but we were a drop away from beating them, too.
I think a lot of Bryce. What Bryce Young did the last 8 weeks of the year shows me that, like, if you would have told me after week 4 this year that I might rather have Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud, I'd be put in a mental institution. Right, but C.J. Stroud struggled all year. Now he did play a great game against Kansas City But like people say, well, he got sacked 9 times. Well, once they got behind by 11, they couldn't just run the ball with Mixon like they did in the first half. So now they dropped back to pass. They sent everybody, and their offensive line sucked. But Stroud played well in that game, but he struggled all year. I mean, I thought Bryce Young looked great. Like the last 8 games.
Yeah, he looked good. Well, I don't want to be. I got to be truthful here. I don't watch a ton of college, but when I saw the Ohio State versus Georgia game with Stroud, and then we didn't take him for the IQ test.
I agree. I saw that game too, and I'm like, how do you not take Stroud number 1, right? Like I saw how great he was in that game. I agree.
Yeah. Yep. And then, but Bryce has the wheels, and I don't know if this is true, like, because I follow some of the podcasts and stuff. Mm-hmm. He allegedly was in a long-term relationship, was gonna get engaged, and she left him for one of his best friends. And I think that, I don't know if you've heard anything about that, but he had a mini mental breakdown, and that's why he was so bad.
Maybe.
And there was this whole thing about him getting DM'd on Instagram and
Listen,
stuff. And
I'm never taking a 5'10" quarterback over a 6'4" quarterback ever.
I agree, because his ceiling's Russell Wilson, right? Peak Russell Wilson,
right?
A Kyler Murray.
I mean, yeah, but Murray, you have to be fast. So look at the small quarterbacks that have been great, right? Russell Wilson, when he had wheels, look at him now without wheels. He's hopeless, right? And there's only one person that's small that didn't have wheels maybe 2 in the history of the NFL. Drew Brees, and that's it. Who's the one guy? Who was the other small quarterback? The guy that threw the miracle in college to the Boston College. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure.
Yeah, you guys know. From the guy in Buffalo, you guys know who I'm talking about. The guy who threw the miracle Hail Mary against Boston College. And anyways, he was he went to the USFL, then he went to the Bills. But he was small, but he couldn't if you're small and you can't run, you're just dead.
Yeah, and they turned him on towards the end, if you notice, because I think the last
Doug Flutie, Doug Flutie, thanks you guys.
Yeah.
So you look at the
we need a wideout though.
You look at the 2 small quarterbacks that were good and decent. The only small quarterback that was ever great was the guy from New Orleans, right? And but Doug Flutie was decent, and Russell Wilson with wheels was good, and Kyler Murray with wheels. I love watching Kyler play. I think he's great, But you have to have if you're going to be small, you got to run. You have to be able to run,
You got to run
because small quarterbacks.
And I think so. You brought up Brees. We were spoiled. If you look at how I think the quality of play though compared to now than back then, when we had Brady, Brees,
Drew Brees, without a doubt, the best small quarterback pocket passer of all time. There will never be another Drew Brees. Everybody would be even when they were all talking about Bryce Young going 1, I'm like, you can't take a 5'9" quarterback.
You can't.
There's only been one.
Yep, but hey, great. I hope he makes us proves us wrong. As a Panthers fan.
I was very impressed how well he threw the ball in the last 8 games of the year. Really impressed.
And that division's wide open. I know because Evans and Baker aren't getting any younger.
Listen,
Godwin might be done.
Listen, Baker gave the game away to the Redskins, and Tampa Bay, they had the defense and the team that could have gone to the Super Bowl. I mean, what they have done with that offensive line from when Brady left 2 years ago to now is unbelievable. And Baker, he's a winner, dude. Baker's a fucking winner.
Yeah, but it makes me sick even talking about him because you realize that, our GM, that guy should be, working at, McDonald's or something because we had Sam Darnold, we had Baker, we traded Christian and mortgaged our future away to get Bryce. And every successful quarterback you see now, half of them.
And then going into last year, everybody was saying, they're stuck with Bryce, and then the Bears got what's his name?
Caleb.
Caleb looks.
He's a fucking weirdo.
I don't know.
He's
man.
a weirdo. With the nails. And,
the guy fucking was a great quarterback in the Pac-10 where they play no defense. I don't know.
I was turned off to him when he was crying in the stands to his mom. I was just like, yeah, that's not it.
Listen, what you saw out of Bryce Young the last 8 weeks, like he had one bad game, seven out of the last 8 weeks. Like he fucking made some great throws, dude. Like,
great throws. Yeah, I saw some stat.
You're talking about like running for his life. Like he made some, dude. He looked like a totally different fucking quarterback. So maybe there's hope.
I guess when you're half the foot out the door, right, scares the shit out of you. You're kind of free rolling at that point, for lack of a better word.
I mean, he was so bad. The first 4 weeks, he was so bad. You know.
Yeah.
But listen, when you see that out of somebody, you know, you never know. You know, I saw that video where Darnold and Baker were both in Carolina. You know, but listen.
Yeah, Baker. We hated Baker so much that he was on the practice.
You know how you knew Baker was a winner? This is how I know Baker was a winner. Like his first year in Cleveland, he got him to the playoffs, right? And then, you know, the offense, they had a lot of injuries, and next couple of years he played very average, right? But like when he went to the Rams and was in the Rams headquarters for 24 hours on that Thursday night against the Raiders, and he made
I remember that game,
and he made those back-to-back throws, right? You said to yourself, how can a guy walk off the fucking couch and throw the ball that good, right?
I remember I had like some parlay, and that was the last leg, and I turned to my friend when he came in. I said, "This is the," when he started throwing like that. I'm like,
dude, I lost money on that game. I remember that game.
Yeah, I did too.
But listen, man, Baker's a winner, dude. Right? I love watching Baker play. Yeah. It's a shame that fumble on the handoff, because they might have been the team to go to the Super. They had the offense. They had Bucky Irving. They were running the ball like 100 yards a game. So their offensive line had what they had done to that offensive line in 2 years since Brady left, where they couldn't run the ball and Brady would run for his life, is unbelievable. Like they had, Vita Vea is an unbelievable run stopper. But Tampa Bay was missing a couple people in the back end defense. And I think they're really good. I'm not a big fan of the coach.
And I'm sure as a gambler, the coach is he feels like he freezes in the big moments. But I'm sure you're a believer of like some teams just got your number. They seem to beat the Eagles every time they play them. I know this year was the injuries, but remember, didn't they bounce them like a year or two ago from the playoffs?
Because that was what I had him as my top pick that week. Even though I knew Brown was out and I knew Smith was out, I said they got this game circled, right? Because what happened to them the year before. And but they couldn't move the ball, without the receivers. And I haven't been a fan of Hurts, but you watch how he played fantastic last week. I mean, he made that throw to A.J. Brown on the sideline was when he was running for his life. Like he played.
The one he dropped. No,
the one he caught. They had first and goal.
Oh no, the one he caught. Do you know the one he dropped though, and then was reading the book? I thought you were talking about that one.
Yeah.
But it was like the perfect touchdown pass, but he dropped it.
I remember that.
That book on the sideline.
If he plays well, the Eagles are going to win this game. Like, I mean,
let me ask you this: is it better than, instead of taking the Eagles, you would think, right? If you're the Chiefs, your number one priority is to shut down Saquon. I think Hurts.
I think it's 3.5 to 1. I agree.
Because if they win, it's Hurts, in my opinion. I don't think Saquon's running for 200 yards on the Chiefs.
I mean, his over/under is 116. On our We Win podcast, we have the under 116 as our best bet. And I mean, the Kansas City, they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher all year. But
if that usually proves true in the playoffs,
right?
But you may see Hurts.
But look at the last 2 weeks. I mean, Mixon fucking gashed him 3 weeks ago, right? And then they had the fucking the turnover, and they found themselves down 11, and so once they had to drop back and pass down 11 in the fourth. The guy missed a field goal. If he doesn't miss the field goal and they're only down 8, they could probably run the ball and try and get. Because Mixon had 89 yards on like 10 carries. I think he had 12 carries. He averaged like 7 yards a carry. And look at last week. I mean, I mean, Cooks also had like 89 yards on like 9 carries. That's why I don't understand.
Yeah.
How does Cooks not touch the ball on the last possession of the game? They put a backup running back in, right, to run the ball on first down.
I don't even think it was Ray Davis. I think it was like the third stringer.
It's a joke. I mean, Cooks was going off.
Yeah.
So, but if you listen, they have the number 8 rushing defense, Kansas City, right? But they were number 3 at Christmas, and they have fallen off a cliff the last like 4 or 5 games, But they're going to go all out to stop Barkley, and that means AJ Brown and Devontae Evans and the tight end they're going to be open.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree. Why bet Philly? I think if Philly wins, plus 350 is
it's going to be her. Yeah, that's the bet.
I mean, they have Barkley at plus 250, but I kind of agree with you. It's a good. I was thinking about that today, by the way. I was definitely thinking about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to go look at all the props.
Maybe I'll bet.
One thing too. What? Go on. Sorry.
I haven't bet since I quit betting after the first game of the playoffs. I went 13-1. So, but because I told.
Well, it is weird. Not to interrupt you, because like I said, I told you I follow a lot of like the analyst stuff because of DraftKings. This is the first year because they push parlays on everyone that if you were just, I'm sure if you were just a straight bettor and gave the points, this was the first time in like 50 years where that like
fucking
won,
favorites
like
won
68%
of every game. My friends who are bookies got absolutely murdered the last 5 weeks. Everybody just took favorite and over. But the Super Bowl.
And the other thing, the one big one I hit, but I didn't bet big. It was like literally plus 40,000, and I don't know why they don't adjust the odds on this. It's when they do National Tight End Day. Do you realize that like 14 tight ends scored a touchdown that weekend? I had I did a stupid like $10. I put like 6 of them together. I checked later, and half the league that's the tight end caught the touch. So they're gonna have to do something with that because that seems like free money because the quarterbacks look for them on that day. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I honestly do not know how this game will not be like last year's game, like very low scoring. I don't see it. I see 21-17, 21-20. I just see that. I don't see anything else.
I agree.
Maybe
I think it's gonna be ugly though because last year was like, I guess it wasn't terribly exciting. The first round of Eagles Chiefs was crazy.
Yeah, but we knew 2 years ago. We knew 2 years ago the Eagles defense was overrated because all the good teams were shredding it on the back end, and that's why I knew last year they would struggle. They did not make any moves, and last year their back end defense got shredded, right? And then they drafted 2 guys, they signed a couple guys, and now they have the best back end defense in the NFL.
Do you know what's going on with Quinyon though? I thought he hurt his shoulder or something in that Washington game. Didn't he go out?
Who?
Their top corner, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yes, he did, but I think he's good to go, from what I read.
Oh, okay.
But I'll look that up.
Yeah, I guess you've got to assume everyone's in. Yeah, that and the other who I'm also worried about is the center. He's
starting. He came in after their backup got injured 2 weeks ago, and he was hurt. He had his back problem, and when he came in, he looked great, right? Even with the back problem, and he wasn't even going to play.
Yeah, true.
So Jurgensen says he's good to go 100%, and the backup is good to go. So
Brandon Graham might play, right? They said. I know he hasn't played in a while.
Yes,
but,
I heard that. Yeah. They got their whole offensive line. Like as far as I'm concerned, I heard they're like 100% healthy. I just think the Eagles are a better team. Yeah.
I agree. Like I said though, it's just the Tom Brady thing where it's just like because it's him, because it's Mahomes. Like you gotta be prepared.
I mean,
not even rigged or anything conspiracy theory. Just
if you really believe that Hollywood Brown is going to fucking do what he did like last week against the shitty ass. The Bills fucking lost their best corner 5 minutes into the game, and their pass defense sucked all year. I mean, they scored the most.
No, if you have the Eagles, you need to gulp when they come out right on the second series, and they got some package we've never seen. They got both running backs back there. They got Noah Gray and bullshit.
If you're the Eagles, you need Kansas City you need to defer. You got to stop Kansas City 3 and out, and then you got to go down and score. If Kansas City gets down 7-0 and Kansas City is stopped on a possession, the Eagles are going to win 100%.
Yeah, I agree. You can't let them control the pace of the game because it works the other way too, right? You don't want Hurts.
I just know Pacheco is like 50% of what he was, and Kareem Hunt is a nothing, and I know Barkley. I know that. I mean, run the ball, stop the run, and if they key to stop Barkley, man, there's going to be receivers open.
It's good. It's going to be a great game.
It is. All right.
But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking
the
time. And if I see you in Vegas, I'll try to remind you of this podcast.
You got it, my man. I'm gonna go back to playing my game and try and win some of the money back I'm stuck for the week.
Yeah, I'll probably see you in Omaha or something.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'll be at the Aria tomorrow night. All right, my man. Take care.
Take it easy. Bye.
All right, guys. It's a good hour and a half, almost hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to go try and recoup some of my losses in the poker game. Eagles and under is my pick. I love the under. I think I might be right. Instead of taking the Eagles, I might just take Hurts at plus 350. Anyways, have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to Mouthpiece. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
The Mouthpiece.